ladies and gentlemen, we're halfway through the Festival of the Boot for 1997 with the AFL final decided today and, of course, the ARL final coming up tomorrow with the Manly Sea Eagles up against the Newcastle Knights. And there's so many issues screaming to be put under the microscope from the football season, but unfortunately another issue has bobbed up totally out of left field that demands our attention. Last Thursday night, there was a tremendous television program put to air in this nation. It was put to air by Channel 7. And Roy and I were lucky enough to see it. It was by Farrah Fawcett Majors. It was called All of Me. Now, Roy, you and I watched this one with our pants around the ankles, knowing it would be very, very, very good. What were your initial impressions, pal?
HG, look, I didn't know what to expect.
No, neither did I.
But I thought it was very, very tasteful. And very brave of Farrah. Yes. It wasn't until after the show had concluded, we'd rolled to credits and they did say you could get the fully extended version out of Fishwick, should you so choose, that I realised that she'd spent so much time in the nude. Yes. It didn't really dawn on me at the time. It was just so tasteful, so beautiful, and the art gear.
Yes.
That art gear was beautiful. When I don't know if people saw it at home or not, but when she peeled off the layers and just was there nude and smeared on the paint and then rubbed herself against the canvas. It was so not erotic.
No.
There was nothing at all that suggested flute work or downstairs gear. To me, I just saw art. Yes. If anything, it was just slightly derivative. I thought of Jackson Pollock and Blue Poles, where Jackson just got the paint, took the trousers off, got excited, poured it onto the flute, and then let the flute do the talking. Again, very tasteful.
Yes. Roy, the person who immediately came to my mind was Pro Hart, the great Australian painter who loves to hump a carpet with a cake, with a chocolate cake between him and the sherry pile.
But that's disposable. Yeah. That's never meant to be put up in your national gallery, you know, when Betty Churchill was about. Yeah. You know, that's...
the new guy, Brian Kennedy.
Yeah, or the new bloke who wants to turf everything out apart from Blue Pole.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, what sort of market would there be for Farrah's work? I mean, if we were down at Sotheby's tonight and we went down to, say, the vaults and said, you know, have you got anything by Ms. Majors? And they said, yes, we've got a couple here. We've got a couple of Winsor & Newton sketches and a couple, you know, what we call full frontals, meaning she got everything onto the canvas, so to speak, at the time. I mean, what sort of money are we talking about to get one of those?
Look, you'd be talking a fair bob. You'd have to be talking a fair bit. But it's a sculpture that blew me away. Those female nudes that she did, absolutely anatomically 100. I mean, you could train medical students on them. So accurate were they. Yes. And again, I thought it was very tasteful when she was rubbing the nude sculptures that she'd created, and then picked up something like a bit of quink ink and poured it on herself and started rubbing herself as well. I thought it was absolutely necessary to tell the story. Yes, that's right. And to tell the story. And because the story, as I could tell, was about a statement, might have been Betty Grable or Jean Harlow had made all those years ago, that acting is taking off your clothes and turning around slowly. But I always thought that as a sort of metaphorical thing. I didn't see it as literal. But that's the genius of Farrah. Nothing loopy about her at all.
Now, a lot of people have suggested to me, privately and in correspondence both on the website, the ABC website, and obviously via, you know, old-fashioned postal services, that Farrah Fawcett Majors is on drugs of some sort, really. Now, I've seen the interview with David Letterman. It looks, you know, obviously, absolutely stone-cold sober, that one, if I can use that term. Well, you know her pretty well. Is there any suggestion from your knowledge of her, you know, having done a couple of artworks with her over the years, that she is on any sort of, should we say, chemical enhancement?
Look, I'm not sure. Look, I think Farrah and Sanity parted the ways years ago. Well before she met Lee Majors. Yes. Well before she met Ryan O'Neill.
Yes.
I think she's been loopy for some... But that's genius.
Yeah, that's true. You forget that, don't you?
Genius.
Salvador Dali was the same.
Salvador Dali was the same. Loopy, big love. Weird. Right, if she could go on those, she would. It'd be tasteful. But hats off to Channel 7. Because I know families throughout Australia
Stayed up.
Stayed up. Would have run into the rooms and got the kiddies up. Family viewing.
Look at this. It's Windsor and Newton. It's 21st century.
Yes.
It's Farrah Fawcett Major,
Yes.
somebody out of our youth.
That's right.
Now, what?
And I hope we get more of that Playboy gear on. It's so edifying.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Seven.
Now, what is Farrah planning next, Roy? You know, obviously she must be working on something. Would she come out here and do the Harbour Bridge? You know, I know that's
What, nudie style, just rub all over it.
Well,
It takes 6 months.
look,
I get people looking.
yeah, that's right. That's what I mean.
Where is she?
What I was thinking of was, you know, obviously Rick Birch has to pull people to Australia for the opening ceremony for the Olympic Games.
Oh, yeah.
And if you knew that Farrah was working on the bridge,
Oh, yes.
bloody hell, you'd come down and have a look.
Of course you would. Or get a lot of fit Australians to play the canvas.
Yes.
Australian players.
Yes.
Have you thought of that, Seven?
Yes. Roy, the other thing, of course, is that, you know, some of her contemporaries might take up her style.
Yes.
Who could you see getting on board, you know, the art bandwagon, so to speak, you know, Farrah style? I mean, I just raised the point is...
Look, I know there are probably a lot of kiddies at NIDA thinking canvas, nudity, Jean Harlow, Farrah Fawcett,
Betty.
count me in.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Unfortunately, we moved up, used up, should I say, all our time to talk about the football, talking about Farrah. But one thing I just wanted to get your
Farrah would love the football. She would, wouldn't she? Wouldn't she have done a canvas today at the MCG? She had all those round canvases to work on.
Yes, that's
she?
right. Oh, well, there's so
She
much
could have
there.
just swiveled nude.
That's right. That's right. And the shots from the
From the
blend-
air. Oh, oh.
That'd be tremendous. Talk about getting the world on board the AFL bandwagon. With Farrah down there wriggling about. Looney style. On one of those big dots. Having said that, we've got the Rugby League Grand Final tomorrow, Roy. Could she have brought something to that? You know, I mean, look, I want to say this. Can I say something about the Rugby League Grand Final tomorrow? Is the Newcastle Knights have been denied you know, bringing their horse down. Yeah. Could Farrah be the replacement from the horse running up
Lady
and down?
Godiva style.
Running up and down the sideline.
Oh, Lady Godiva style.
Yeah. Just a leg over.
They let her in.
Yeah.
Just with a can of paint, can of Burge-a-Breeze.
Wouldn't it be blue up top and red downstairs? Or the other way around, colours?
That's right.
And a bit of a slant, signifying we all know what. Charging up and down the sidelines. You know, everything.
Symbolism.
Indeed, everything in place. And when they went in for a score, you know, be one end, the other end, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that would be a grand final to remember. Well, I'm glad we worked those two topics out. Now, my very good friends, it's time to raise the temperature here in the Sharp End. Tonight, we turn up the heat and allow the pot to boil over. Yes, if you like it hot and heavy, if you like it sizzling and sultry, you are there. Tonight, the mistress of heat and beat is supported by those horrible howling hounds of rhythm, the brand new Beatles and the steamy, stifling samber of song. That is the sound of the Nissan Cedrics, the selection, a grand final classic raver. Union City Blues, Australia, can you loosen the hips and engage the lips and rumba around the rumpus room with delight as you welcome back to the Bug House, the Duchess of Voluptuous Dub, Ms. Kate Sobrano.